In the mid-1400s, a German goldsmith named Johannes Gutenberg changed human history forever, not with a sword, not with a throne, but with a machine. His invention, the printing press, transformed how knowledge spread across the world. Before Gutenberg, every book was copied by hand, usually by monks in monasteries, a process so painfully slow that a single Bible could take years to complete. Books were rare, expensive, and reserved for the wealthy and the church. Knowledge was literally locked away. Gutenberg's breakthrough was movable, typed tiny metal letters that could be rearranged, inked, and pressed onto paper, then reset for the next page. It meant books could be produced not in decades, but in days. In 1455, Gutenberg printed the famous Gutenberg Bible, and while only about 180 copies were made, it was proof that the world would never be the same again. The printing press sparked a revolution of ideas. Suddenly, knowledge was no longer chained to the elites. Books became cheaper, literacy spread, and ordinary people gained access to learning that had once been forbidden fruit. The Renaissance, which was already blooming in art and culture, exploded with new energy. Scientists like Copernicus and Galileo could now share radical ideas about the universe faster and wider than ever before. Thinkers like Martin Luther, who challenged the Catholic Church, relied on the press to print pamphlets and spread the Reformation. Without the printing press, the Protestant Reformation may never have taken root so quickly, shaking the religious and political order of Europe. It also reshaped politics. Kings and rulers could no longer control information so easily. Ideas about governance, rights, and freedom spread across borders. Centuries later, when Enlightenment thinkers like Voltaire, Locke, and Rousseau wrote about liberty and democracy, their words reached thousands of readers through printed works. The press was fueling revolutions of thought that would eventually inspire revolutions on the streets, from the American Revolution to the French Revolution. But this invention wasn't just about lofty ideas. It changed daily life. Manuals, almanacs, medical texts, even cookbooks became accessible. Farmers could read about new agricultural techniques. Merchants learned about trade routes. Sailors studied maps and navigation charts. For the first time, knowledge could move as fast as human curiosity. Of course, with great power came new problems. Censorship emerged as rulers, and the church tried to control the spread of dangerous ideas. Printers were sometimes jailed, their works burned, but the genie was out of the bottle. The more authorities tried to silence ideas, the faster they spread. Knowledge had gone viral, centuries before the internet. The impact on science was massive. Before Gutenberg, discoveries often died with their discoverers, lost in obscure handwritten notes. Now, scientists could publish findings, build on each other's work, and debate across countries. This exchange fueled the scientific revolution, laying the groundwork for modern physics, biology, and medicine. Imagine a world without Newton's Principia being widely shared, or without Galileo's works reaching minds eager for change. The printing press made science collaborative. The technology itself spread quickly. Within a few decades, printing presses appeared across Europe, in Italy, France, Spain, England. By 1500, millions of books had been printed. In less than 50 years, more books were produced than in the entire previous 1,000 years of human history. By 1600, literacy rates were rising, universities were thriving, and a new class of educated citizens was emerging. Even culture shifted. Storytelling, poetry, plays, Shakespeare's works, for example, were widely printed and preserved, shaping language and literature. National identities grew stronger as people could now read works in their own languages, not just Latin. The printing press gave voices to entire cultures, creating a shared sense of belonging. And here's the wildest part. Gutenberg probably had no idea just how big his invention would be. He wasn't thinking about sparking revolutions or democratizing knowledge. He was a craftsman looking for a better way to produce texts. Yet his machine became the foundation of mass communication. It was the internet of the Renaissance, connecting people, spreading ideas, and transforming civilization. The legacy of the printing press is so deep that every newspaper, every book, every article you read today owes its existence to that 15th century leap. In fact, historians call Gutenberg's press one of the most important inventions of all time, right alongside fire, the wheel, and electricity. Without it, the modern world, democracy, science, education, free speech, would look nothing like it does today. So when we think about revolutions, we often picture wars, uprisings, or great leaders. But sometimes the greatest revolutions come from something simple. A machine that puts ink on paper and gives humanity the power to share ideas faster than ever before. The printing press didn't just change history, it changed how we tell history, ensuring that knowledge could be passed down, preserved, and constantly reinvented. And that, more than anything, is why Gutenberg's invention is remembered as the spark that turned the darkness of the Middle Ages into the dawn of the modern age.